Everyone, welcome back to another video. Today's video we are going to be trying to fix the synchronization in a high school's fire alarm system. This high school specifically is the high school that I attend currently in grade 11, and I will be working alongside my school district electricians and our fire alarm technicians that we brought in to try and fix the synchronization problem on this system. This synchronization problem is not a new problem at all. And if you haven't seen it before, I'll put in a couple clips that show it right here. It is, but
That doesn't close them?
yeah, look at the strobes.
Can I hear it now?
You So this has been a problem on this fire alarm system for a few years at this point, and it's actually been a problem for as long as I can remember. Apparently the system was once synchronized, though I hear from others that that's not true and it's never been synchronized. Either way, as far as I've known the system for probably about 4 going on 5 years at this point. I've been hearing these horns, and I have never heard them in synchronization. Since the school was built in 2015 with the original system in the building, which has always been a notifier NFS 640 with an NCA display on it instead of a normal KDM, which is nice because that NCA is there to give the system network capability because it is a networked system going out to another 640 in the portables that is housed in the e-house and is there to monitor the portables when the portables are there. They have been taken away, but they are coming back, so that system will be used. Anyways, the NCA is in place because it's a networked system, and that can be difficult to actually do programming and looking at how things are programmed. The technician that was sent out to this school did not have verifier tools on his laptop, which made things a little bit more challenging. So I'm just going to say right now, this is not a well put together video. I basically took a pile of crap and tried to make it look as nice as I could in editing this video, and I'm sure it's going to show, but I'm doing my best here. I didn't want to be too much up in the guy's business, as I know he was a fairly new technician. This has been a challenging issue. He is not the first tech to come out here and do it, and props to him for actually admitting that there is a problem and not just saying, oh yeah, it's synchronized, because that has happened before. We had a few other techs look at it and say it is synchronized because they didn't actually listen to it and they didn't believe us. They looked at it, went into programming, and said, oh yeah, system sensor sync is enabled in the NACs, and there is a sync module that is operational, that is giving the XP6 card its synchronization. So theoretically there should be synchronization, and theoretically that's right, there should be, but there isn't. So the way that my school's system is, like I said, NFS 640. I'm not sure what they're running for SLCs. If they're running 2 loops, I'd assume they are. Regardless, that doesn't matter. All we're here is to worry about NACs, because that's where our synchronization problems are. This building is made up of 9 NACs. One of the NACs goes out and does the field house, which is a concern, but whatever, for this video it's not really. 3 of the NACs on the actual 640's power supply are being used. 2 of them are going out to field devices, and 1 of them is going to the input on the XP6 card. I believe that's what it's called, the XP6, which can be used for 6 Class B NAC circuits or 3 Class A NAC circuits. I believe we're using Class B here because we're using 2 NACs out of the main panel plus 6 from there. That brings us up to 8. And then there is a 9th NAC, which I believe is the one giving it the input. I don't think they're counting the booster panel, which is tied in to, I believe, NAC 4 on the school, which I think NAC 4 is actually coming out of the XP6. I could be wrong, though. Anyways, there's a bunch of NACs going on, and 2 of the NACs are fine, I believe. So in the school, the atrium is actually synced fine. The horn strobes in the atrium and around that area of the school are synced fine. So the way I think it is I think that the synchronization coming directly out of the 640 is fine. And it's just the NACs coming off of the the XP6, I think those are the problem. And as far as the booster panel, I think it's tied on to that XP6. I think that's what it's called. It might not even be an XP6. It might be an M something. I think it's an XP. I don't know. Whatever it is, I think that's where the booster panel is tied onto. And if the sync input of that isn't getting it from the XP6, then it's no good either. So I think there's only 2 synchronized NACs in the building that are fine. To begin with is basically there's going to be a bunch of clips of setting the fire alarms off, which I don't want to come in and speak between each clip. But to begin with, he checked the programming, everything was fine, and then was suspicious of that sync card that gives the XP6 the synchronization. So he looked into the jumpers on it and messed around with the jumpers, switched some jumpers back and forth, then replaced that card with a new synchronization card on the XP6 to try and do that. That didn't fix it. Then messed around with the jumpers on that, accidentally got it on temporal 3, so that's why the system was kind of doing march time in one of the clips. That didn't fix it, returned that one, put the original card back on it, and then messed around with the jumpers on the actual XP6 card, which I believe disabled the power monitoring on it, which is kind of redundant. So now I'm going to play a few different clips of the system being set off to check it for synchronization.
We're about to commence main some firehouse, please ignore.
I don't know. Right. Yeah, that's still no good. That's still not synchronized. I hear it.
Get it all fixed up?
Here's hoping. I think it was just a misplaced jumper with the original install. So hopefully it's just a part that was already here that was
Right.
What you guys do with the fan?
We put them back on instead of auto. Because we turn them off from the toggle. Okay, let me hear this sync.
No, didn't work.
Okay. No.
no.
I don't know. I don't think so. Well, there's 2 strobes. If I watch those 2. See, Well, these two here are synced fine. Yeah.
I get one.
50? I can't hear where they're coming from. There you go. Oh no, that's worse. Yeah, for some reason all this whole row has been fine. I can hear that one down there is totally.
But I'm wondering, are you watching the flashing? How's that
What the hell?
Do you seriously not know how to navigate that? Oh my god.
Okay, still the new card in there, but this time jumper's switched around from not on temporal. Just gonna go for it, I guess. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this is it. Synced system. All right. Nope. Still no good. Yeah, this whole area back there is still separate from this, it sounds like. Eh? Well, I can hear it from even right here. Like this, your side of the building is completely separate from.
The signal should be duplicated by all interconnected units downstream. So
Didn't you say it had wires connected to the horn in and to the slave in?
that's exactly what I'm saying. Is the corollary to that is that any sync 1 which has connections to its slave-in terminals will not operate as a master.
Yeah, which means it's operating as a slave, which means it should be following the synchronization signal coming from the panel.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So you can't take, if you take the jumper off, then it's going to operate as its own thing. It's going to generate its own synchronization signal. But right now, it's for some reason not following what's going on in the panel. It is connected to NAC 4, which is non-silenceable, and it's got ZL10 on it, which I believe is for zone 0, not zone 0. See that? ZF3. ZF3. Because the panel wasn't starting to create the horn signal until it was in alarm. It's taking a minute for the sync signal to get to sync 1A, which is then taking the exact to get the sync signal out of the field. And so it's taking a solid 15 or 30 seconds to actually synchronize properly.
Yeah.
So what we did, that's why we have that horn circuit turned on all the time. So it's always creating a sync signal, which is always going to sync 1A, and then as soon as those forms come on, it just syncs. It has worked, but I don't know why it's not anymore. I don't think we changed anything.
How do I go into the? I'm not familiar enough with this keypad. The way we have it set up to work is that NAC 4 here is always pushing out an alarm signal, and it's pushing out that you can see that that green light is pretty solid, but it flickers intermittently.
Yeah.
That's the rhythm for the horn.
Okay, yeah.
And that signal is coming out of there.
So coming off of
here.
one of the 640s NACs.
Yeah, and it's coming down to our sync card. It's coming into our sync card, and we have this wire in here, so that it's also feeding into the slave in, because you have to feed it to both the horn in and slave in to make this think that it's getting a sync signal from another sync 1A, and that way it'll listen to this for the rhythm for what to push out.
And that sync card is just to sync the XP6?
The sync card then outputs to the XP6 and tells all of these NACs
To follow the main sync.
follow this rhythm. What I'm wondering, and what I meant to ask before you hung up, is what if this isn't in sync with the other NACs on the 640, right?
Yeah, I mean, do you have a way to check whatever NAC that is?
Yeah.
I know this panel's a pain too, because they put the NCA2 on where you usually have the
Yeah.
KDM, whatever.
Yeah, so yeah, and that's because you have a network system. So the NCA2, I can somewhat use this to get into the 640, but I can't use it to get into the point where I can see anything. Like I couldn't use this to look at the way the 640 is programmed. I have to plug in my laptop.
So it's got the NCA to have that network capability through the portables, is it?
Yeah, so this NCA2 can control this 640, control the 640 or the 320, whatever you have in the portables.
Yeah, it's another 640.
It has to be
Yeah.
a 640 in this network, yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you have any further expansions you put in the school, you can just slap a new 640 in there
Right.
and connect this over the network, which is good and handy. It's a slight inconvenience.
Yeah, it's great
for
until
me.
anyone needs to try and work on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a slight inconvenience in that regard, but it wouldn't be inconvenient if my laptop had a functional license for verifier tools on.
Okay, so a bunch of jumpers have just been removed from the XP6 that apparently don't need to be there and could be. I don't know. I'm not following very well. But anyways, we're going to give it a shot again. Nope. Still no good. Still not synchronized. No good. I don't know. No, I'm doing a bad job at documenting this because I don't really know exactly what's going on, because it's hard to follow. I don't want to be up in the guy's business, you know? Okay, so there's probably been about 6 tries of changing things, and as far as the programming, the programming's fine, perfect. System sensor sync enable, everything's good. We replaced the actual sync card that is supposed to sync this XP6 card, I believe. Didn't fix anything. Replaced it, changed jumpers on it several times. Changed jumpers on the actual XP6 card that monitor it for power. Didn't change anything. Right now is where we're at, is not the tech that's here, but the tech that's been on the phone working together, actually thinks that this guy right here is causing the problem. Apparently this power supply is not actually listed for this use. It's only listed for things like solenoids, relay power, and sometimes bell circuits that are just like bells, not. So apparently this power supply puts out quite dirty power, and it's kind of noisy power, and the theory right now is that noisy power powering that card is actually introducing some noise or some power fluctuations that is actually messing up the sync. I don't know how true that theory is, but right now at this point, anything's worth a shot. I suggested to the tech here running the system off battery backup, maybe that would get rid of some of that noise in the power. He doesn't think it would make a difference. I don't know though. Yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is right now. Okay, I want to try my theory. The way I see it as it's only putting out dirty power when it's converting the AC to DC, and that's making dirty power. I think he thinks if it's running off battery, that power supply will still be interfering. At that point, I think the power supply has got nothing to do with it, and it's just a relay that's flipped over, and it should be coming straight from the battery. So I want to try and run the fire alarms off DC. Realistically, would that ever happen? No. The building's got a generator. Okay, he's making the announcement right now. Fire alarm panel. We now have no AC at the panel. Hey Jamie, you ready for it? Yeah, no good. I don't know why it's showing AC power when it says AC fail. Guess the tech's right. That thing might, well, we don't even know if that's the problem. That was just a theory that that is introducing noisy power. So it might not even be 100% true. Okay, AC fail. AC is back on. There you go. So we could both be right. I could be right in the sense of when it's on battery, it's clean power, and it's a different problem, or he could be right and I could be wrong where that power supply is still affecting even the DC battery power, and that is the problem that's affecting the sync. For today, that's as far as we're getting. So as far as today, that's as far as we're getting, as we've slightly narrowed down the problem, I guess. And at least it's now known about. And they're gonna come back a different day and we're gonna swap the power supply.
Oh, I don't know what to do the rest of the day, I'm tired.
So my theory didn't work. On battery backup, still's no good. But my theory might be right, as it is clean power, and he might be wrong, as that's not even the problem still, right? That dirty power might not be causing it. So I might be right and he might be wrong, or opposite.
If the power was off, you would think it.
I'd think it'd be clean power from the batteries. Sucks we didn't get it fixed today because this is our day with no kids to ring them.
Well, I don't know how long it'll be before they
Well, he's saying now that the new power supply is bigger and might not even fit in the panel. Might have to mount it beside. Because I think that power supply is just for that XP6 card. Because they're running 3 NACs off the actual 640. 2 of them are actually powering stuff, and then one's just going to the XP6, I think. And then one off the XP6 is talking to the booster panel. I think we have 9 NACs in total, apparently. So that's what I'm thinking, is the atrium that is synchronized might be off one of those ones directly off the 640. Because some of the school is synchronized fine. So from what I'm seeing, the school has 9 NACs. One of the NACs feeds the field house. That leaves 8 in the school, which 2 of them are coming off the actual 640 power supply, and one of the off the 640 power supply is going to the XP6 card. So it seems like the one, and then however many are off the XP6, and I think one of the ones off the XP6 activates another 4 from the booster panel. So there might be more like, what's 9 plus 4? It might be more like 13 NACs in the school in total. I'm not sure. But I think the ones coming off the actual 640 are synchronized fine. I think it's just... So I think those ones are the ones doing the atrium, and some of those ones in that area of the school, I think, are the 2 NACs off the genuine 640, and then the rest of them off the XP6 are the ones with synchronization problems. For whatever reason, right now they're thinking it's that power supply powering the XP6, because we've replaced the sync module that syncs the XP6. So that's not the problem. We've messed around with dip switches, so we're thinking it's the power supply, and we're thinking it's not a problem with the 640. All the programming is fine, and it seems as though some NACs are fine, so we're just assuming those are the ones that are off of the genuine 640, and then the booster panel isn't going to be able to follow any synchronization, if there isn't a synchronization to follow, because it's coming off one of the NACs that is already screwed up. That's where we're at. Okay guys, that's where I'm going to end this first video of trying to figure out the synchronization at my school. Obviously, as you saw, the problem was not fixed. We didn't get the synchronization fixed, unfortunately, though at least we're starting to eliminate what the problem isn't, therefore trying to get closer to finding out what the actual problem is and hopefully rectifying that problem. As you guys know, this school was built in 2015 with the addition done in 2020, and this problem should have been caught earlier. In fact, that power supply that we think is the problem, even if it isn't the problem, it shouldn't have been put in there in the first place, because it puts out that dirty power and isn't listed for this application. Anyways, guys, that's all it's going to be for this video. I'm not sure when the second part is going to be out, because I'm not sure when we're going to be back to work on this issue, though I will try and make a video, and I'm sure I will make a video once we do. So guys, that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I know it wasn't the most put together video. This was actually kind of challenging to edit this into something that was actually watchable, as it was pretty well just a bunch of random clips from the day, but I tried to make it as good as we could with what we were working with. So anyways, guys, that's all I've got. If you have any comments or questions, make sure to put those in the comment section, and if you do enjoy my videos, make sure to subscribe. Alrighty guys, that's it. Thanks for watching.